Welcome to Secret Scrolls, unlocking the universe's ancient mysteries.
What happens after our last breath? Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the final heartbeat? Does the essence of who we are dissolve into nothingness, or does it journey through realms beyond our wildest imagination? Welcome, dear soul traveler, to the exploration of one of life's greatest mysteries. Today, we step into the profound depths of Tibetan Buddhism to uncover the secrets held within the Bardo Thodol, famously known in the West as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. A guide to the unknown. Picture this: a guide not for your travels on Earth, but for your passage through the most mysterious phase of existence, the transition from life to death. The Bardo Thodol serves this purpose, acting as a map for the soul's journey after the last breath is drawn. But this text is far more than a simple manual for the end of life. It's a key, one that opens the doors to understanding the unseen realms beyond. Are you ready? Together, we'll cross the threshold, decode its ancient wisdom, and perhaps uncover deeper truths about what it means to truly exist. The origins of a sacred text. The story of the Bardo Thodol begins with Padmasambhava, a name that resonates deeply within Tibetan Buddhism. Imagine an 8th century mystic, born in India, who brought Buddhism to the majestic mountains of Tibet. This wasn't just any teacher. Padmasambhava is revered as the Guru Rinpoche, meaning precious master. But who was he, truly? Padmasambhava wasn't merely a monk or scholar. He was a spiritual pioneer, a figure cloaked in legend and mystery. Known for his unparalleled wisdom and mastery of esoteric teachings, he transformed the spiritual landscape of Tibet. This sacred guide, the Bardo Thodol, is believed to carry his essence, a profound teaching meant to illuminate the path through life, death, and beyond. What is the Bardo? The word Bardo translates to intermediate state, or in between. It refers to the space where the soul resides after leaving the physical body, but before its next destination, be it liberation or rebirth. Think of it as the spiritual waiting room, where every choice and thought shapes what comes next. But make no mistake, this isn't a passive experience. The Bardo is a dynamic realm, filled with visions, sounds, and encounters that reflect the soul's deepest nature. It's in this transitional phase that the teachings of the Bardo Thodol become a lifeline, guiding the soul toward enlightenment, or at the very least, a better rebirth, an instruction manual for the soul. The Bardo Thodol isn't just read by the living, it's meant to be read to those who have recently passed. Why? Because in the Bardo state, the soul is believed to be highly receptive, attuned to the vibrations of guidance and wisdom. This sacred text describes vivid and often startling imagery, the peaceful and wrathful deities, the dazzling lights of various realms, and the karmic forces pulling the soul in different directions. But far from being a simple depiction of the afterlife, these descriptions are deeply symbolic. They serve as metaphors for the states of consciousness we encounter, both in life and after death. Why does it matter to us? You might wonder, what does an ancient text about the afterlife have to do with my life right now? The answer lies in its profound teachings about mindfulness and intention. The Bardo Thodol reminds us that the way we live shapes not only this life, but the ones to come. It teaches that awareness and compassion can guide us through even the most chaotic transitions, whether they occur in this life or beyond. A journey beyond fear. Perhaps the most transformative lesson of the Bardo Thodol is its approach to fear. It tells us that the terrifying visions of the afterlife are not external forces, but reflections of our own mind. By recognizing them as such, we can face them with courage and clarity, dissolving their power over us. This teaching doesn't just apply to death, it's a lesson for life. How often do we face fears that seem overwhelming, only to realize they're creations of our own thoughts. The wisdom of the Bardo Thodol urges us to confront these fears, understanding that liberation begins within. Padmasambhava, the spiritual master who bridged worlds. Padmasambhava, a spiritual master of unparalleled depth, was not just a yogi but a visionary who mastered mystical techniques and esoteric teachings. His life's work culminated in the creation of the Bardo Thodol, a guide designed to illuminate the path not only for the living but also for the departed. His profound compassion sought to offer a route to liberation, even after one's final breath. From a remarkably young age, Padmasambhava exhibited extraordinary mystical abilities. He was recognized as a Mahasiddha, a spiritual adept who had attained exceptional levels of realization, including the development of miraculous spiritual powers, known as siddhis. His reputation as a master of both the visible and invisible realms reached far and wide, eventually drawing the attention of Tibet's king, Trisong Detsen. The king, driven by a vision to unify Tibet under the teachings of Buddhism and strengthen the nation's spiritual core, invited Padmasambhava to Tibet. However, this wasn't an easy mission. At the time, Tibet was a land deeply rooted in shamanic practices and animist beliefs, predominantly shaped by the Bon religion, the indigenous spiritual tradition. The spiritual landscape was vibrant but chaotic, presenting a significant challenge to the spread of Buddhism. A harmonizer of traditions, when Padmasambhava arrived in Tibet, he faced resistance from various cultural and spiritual forces. The indigenous deities and spirits tied to the Bon traditions actively opposed the introduction of Buddhism. Rather than seeking to eradicate these beliefs, Padmasambhava used his mastery of tantric rituals and magical practices to engage with and tame these spiritual entities. He integrated elements of Bon practices and deities into Tibetan Buddhism, creating a unique synthesis that laid the foundation for its enduring presence in Tibet. This harmonization was revolutionary. It not only neutralized opposition but also enriched Tibetan Buddhism, making it a more inclusive and culturally resonant tradition. Padmasambhava's efforts culminated in the establishment of Sami Monastery, the first Buddhist monastery in Tibet. From this sacred place, he began transmitting profound teachings about the mind, reality, and the cyclical nature of existence, known as samsara, a master of the transition. In Tibetan Buddhism, death is not seen as an end, but as a transition, a gateway to profound possibilities. Padmasambhava understood that in the moments after death, the mind is freed from the distractions of the physical body and enters a unique state, one ripe with potential for spiritual liberation. However, he also recognized the challenges of this phase. Most people become lost in fear, confusion, and illusions, unable to grasp the opportunity for enlightenment. It was this deep compassion for human suffering that drove Padmasambhava to create the Bardo Thodol. He envisioned it as a guide to be recited for those on the brink of passing or studied by the living to prepare the mind for the bardos, the transitional states after death. This sacred text provides instructions to navigate these states, enabling the soul to recognize the ultimate truth and potentially achieve liberation. A final opportunity for enlightenment. At the heart of the Bardo Thodol is the concept of the clear light, the pure and radiant essence of the mind that becomes visible at the moment of death. Padmasambhava taught that recognizing this light offers a direct path to enlightenment. Yet, he also acknowledged that many might not reach this realization during their lifetime. For them, death presents one last opportunity, a chance to break free from the cycle of samsara and attain spiritual freedom. His teachings were infused with hope and compassion. Even in the face of uncertainty and dissolution, Padmasambhava sought to provide clarity and guidance. he created the Bardo Thodol not merely as a guide for the dying, but as a testament to the boundless potential for liberation that lies within every soul. A legacy of compassion, Padmasambhava's work transcends time, offering wisdom for both life and death. His vision was to ease suffering, illuminate the path to enlightenment, and ensure that even in the darkest moments, the soul could find its way home. The Bardo Thodol remains a timeless reminder of his compassionate mission, a spiritual bridge connecting the living, the dying, and the eternal truths beyond. The three stages of the Bardo Thodol. The Bardo Thodol serves as a profound guide for the soul, navigating it through three distinct stages, or bardos, that every soul encounters during its journey after death. These stages represent pivotal moments of transition, reflection, and potential liberation. 1. The Chikai Bardo, the moment of death. The journey begins with the Chikai Bardo, the stage of death itself. This is the moment when the soul witnesses the dissolution of the physical body, freeing consciousness from its material confines. Here, the soul encounters the primordial clear light, an immense and radiant brilliance described in the Bardo Thodol as pure, boundless, and transformative. This clear light represents the absolute nature of the mind, a state of unconditional consciousness that transcends fear, attachment, and duality. Some describe it as the higher self, others as the solar mind, yet all interpretations point to a reality of infinite peace and unity. For a prepared spiritual practitioner, this moment offers the ultimate opportunity for liberation. By recognizing the clear light as an intrinsic part of their essence, the soul can instantly achieve nirvana, bypassing the subsequent stages of the bardos altogether. This recognition does not rely on rituals, teachings, or external aids. It is a direct and unfiltered experience of the truth, where all karmic patterns, identities, and conditioning dissolve. However, for those unprepared for this intensity, the light may feel overwhelming, even terrifying. Fear and attachment to the familiar can prevent the soul from embracing this opportunity, causing it to retreat into the following stages of the bardos. In doing so, it faces increasingly distorted and limiting visions shaped by its karmic tendencies. The Chonyid Bardo, the Bardo of visions. The second stage, the Chonyid Bardo, unfolds as a dimension of vivid and profound visions, reflecting the soul's inner consciousness. Stripped of its physical form, the soul enters a realm where the boundaries of tangible reality no longer exist. Here, the mind's deepest contents, its fears, desires, and suppressed emotions, emerge as projections. As Carl Gustav Jung insightfully noted, gods and demons are projections of the unconscious, powerful and inescapable, until understood as parts of ourselves. This stage exemplifies that truth. The visions in the Chonyid Bardo appear in two distinct forms: peaceful visions and wrathful visions, each mirroring the emotional and karmic imprints accumulated across lifetimes. Peaceful visions. In the initial phase of this bardo, the soul is greeted by serene and benevolent figures, manifestations of its enlightened and positive qualities. These peaceful deities may take the form of Buddhas, bodhisattvas, or luminous divine beings, radiating calmness and compassion. They embody the soul's higher consciousness, cultivated through lifetimes of virtuous actions and spiritual growth. For a prepared soul, these visions offer a profound sense of peace and a reminder of its innate potential for enlightenment. However, for an unprepared or fearful mind, the experience may be overwhelming, leading to doubt and retreat. When this happens, the soul transitions into the next phase of the Chonyid Bardo. Wrathful visions. If the soul cannot recognize the essential truth of the peaceful visions, it encounters the wrathful deities. These figures, far from being external threats or malevolent beings, are powerful reflections of the soul's unresolved anger, fears, and attachments. They often appear as monstrous or unsettling forms, representing the darker aspects of the mind. The purpose of these wrathful visions is not to punish, but to challenge the soul to confront its inner shadows. By understanding that these frightening images are self-created, the soul has the chance to break free from its attachments and transcend its karmic limitations. However, for those unable to see through the illusions, the journey through the bardos continues, guided by the unresolved forces of their own consciousness. The first two bardos, the Chikai and Chonyid, offer profound opportunities for self-realization and liberation. Whether the soul faces light or shadow, the ultimate goal remains the same: to recognize the truth of its nature and break free from the cycle of suffering. The journey through these stages reveals not only the mysteries of the afterlife, but also the limitless potential of the mind. The Chonyid Bardo, the state of visions. The Chonyid Bardo is described as a state where the mind, now free from the constraints of the physical body, enters a realm of pure psychic manifestation. Here, everything becomes amplified. Thoughts, emotions, and inner energies take on a vivid, dreamlike clarity, far sharper and more intense than any ordinary dream. In this state, the soul encounters the raw and unfiltered expressions of its inner self. All that was repressed, desired, or feared throughout life surfaces with striking intensity. These manifestations, though unsettling at times, are not mere distractions. They are profound opportunities for growth and enlightenment. Each vision serves as a mirror, reflecting an aspect of the self that seeks integration or transcendence. For those who can maintain full awareness during this stage, the realization may arise that these visions, whether peaceful or wrathful, are not external realities but creations of the mind itself. Recognizing this truth can dissolve fear and open the gateway to liberation, focusing on the clear light. The Bardo Thodol encourages the soul to focus on the clear light, the primordial essence of the mind. This light is described as a vast, radiant brilliance, a symbol of the pure, unchanging nature of all beings. It shines as the sun behind the storm of visions, constant and unaffected by the mind's projections. Recognizing the clear light is the ultimate key to liberation. It allows the soul to transcend the illusions of the Chonyid Bardo and escape the endless cycle of rebirth. However, this recognition is not easy for the untrained mind. For most, the visions appear so vivid and meaningful that they become difficult to see beyond. This is why the Bardo Thodol emphasizes the importance of preparation during life. Spiritual practitioners are encouraged to cultivate detachment from illusions and regularly contemplate the true nature of the mind. With such practice, even amidst the intense and overwhelming visions of the Chonyid Bardo, the soul can remain focused on the clear light and find lasting peace. The role of fear and attachment. The two greatest obstacles to liberation in the Chonyid Bardo are fear and attachment. The intensity of the visions, especially those involving wrathful deities, can provoke deep fear. These wrathful figures, representing untamed aspects of the psyche, may feel alien and threatening. This fear creates a sense of separation, causing the soul to flee from the visions rather than face and integrate them. Attachment, on the other hand, can tether the soul to certain visions, particularly the peaceful ones, which may feel comforting or familiar. This clinging keeps the soul bound to the cycle of samsara, the endless loop of birth, death, and rebirth. To overcome these barriers, the soul must recognize that all visions, both serene and terrifying, are empty of inherent reality. In Tibetan Buddhism, this understanding is called shunyata, or emptiness. By recalling the truth of emptiness, the soul can observe the visions without attachment or aversion, understanding them as temporary expressions of its own nature. A test and a revelation. The Chonyid Bardo is not a punishment or a purposeless phase of suffering. Rather, it is a profound moment of revelation. spiritual mirror reflecting the mind's deepest truths. It is both a test and an opportunity, distinguishing those ready for liberation from those who require further rebirth to continue their journey of learning and growth. For the prepared and mindful soul, this bardo offers the chance to overcome fear, transcend attachment, and embrace the clear light. For others, it is a vital step in their ongoing evolution, guiding them toward eventual enlightenment. Ultimately, the Chonyid Bardo reminds us that liberation is not found by escaping the visions, but by understanding and integrating them as reflections of the self. Only through this deep recognition can the soul rise above the illusions of the mind and return to its true, infinite nature. 3. The Sidpa Bardo, the Cycle of Rebirth. The final stage of the Bardo Thodol, the Sidpa Bardo, is the gateway to rebirth. Here, the soul reaches a crucial turning point where its accumulated karma, formed by every action, thought, and intention, determines the path forward. It is as if the entire journey through the bardos has been building up to this moment. What the soul carries within now shapes its next destination. Having experienced the dissolution of the physical body in the Chikai Bardo and confronted its own projections in the Chonyid Bardo, the soul finds itself in a denser psychic state. At this stage, the pull of rebirth intensifies, driven by unresolved fears, desires, and attachments. Tibetan Buddhism teaches that this very longing, this grasping for existence, is what propels the soul to seek a new body and continue the cycle of life, karma, and the forces of rebirth. In the Sidpa Bardo, the soul is deeply influenced by karmic imprints, subtle marks left by actions and emotions from past lives. These imprints act as invisible forces, pulling the soul toward circumstances and experiences that reflect its inner state. For instance, unresolved fear may lead to a rebirth where those same emotions dominate, while unchecked desires or attachments may create a vortex of energy shaping the kind of life the soul will encounter next. This stage is often accompanied by visions symbolizing the process of rebirth. One common vision described in the Bardo Thodol is that of couples in union, a metaphor for the creation of new life. These images represent the soul's instinctive search for a new body, guided by emotional tendencies and karmic impulses. The choice and the challenge. The Bardo Thodol emphasizes the importance of detachment and lucidity during this stage. The soul must resist the pull of its attachments and recognize these visions for what they are, temporary manifestations of the mind. For the spiritual practitioner, this is a final opportunity to transcend the cycle of rebirth entirely. Maintaining calm and detachment in the Sidpa Bardo can lead to liberation. Instead of being drawn into another life shaped by karmic illusions, the soul can recognize the clear light, the pure essence of the mind, and merge with it, achieving enlightenment. This is the ultimate goal, to break free from the cycle of samsara and the illusion of a fixed identity. However, for most, the pull of rebirth becomes overwhelming. The soul, influenced by its karmic inclinations, is instinctively drawn to a new body, like a storm compelling it to continue existing. This choice is not conscious, but is instead shaped by the soul's inner state. The body it takes next becomes a reflection of what the soul must experience or resolve in its ongoing spiritual journey. A spiritual opportunity. Even though rebirth is often driven by unresolved karma, it is also seen as an opportunity. Each new life provides a chance for growth, understanding, and spiritual evolution. The conditions of rebirth, whether favorable or challenging, mirror the soul's needs, offering lessons that can ultimately lead to liberation. For those who remain unaware, however, this cycle of rebirth can perpetuate suffering. Fears and attachments tether the soul to life conditions that repeat unresolved patterns. But for those who see through the illusions of the Sidpa Bardo, liberation becomes possible. The soul can transcend the pull of desires and fears, merging with the clear light and ending the cycle of rebirth. Preparation in life. The journey through the Sidpa Bardo reminds us of the interconnectedness of life and death. Preparation for this final stage begins in life itself. Tibetan Buddhism encourages contemplation of desires and fears, as well as spiritual practices like meditation, to cultivate detachment and awareness. These practices strengthen the mind, enabling it to remain steady and focused amidst the turbulence of the bardos. The Sidpa Bardo teaches a profound truth. Life and death are part of a continuous cycle shaped by our own choices and perceptions. By freeing ourselves from attachments in life, we can free ourselves from the cycle of rebirth and achieve enlightenment. This is the ultimate liberation, when the soul no longer sees itself as bound by identity or existence. A mirror and a map. The Bardo Thodol is far more than a religious text. It is a tool for self-knowledge, a mirror reflecting the mind's true nature, and a map for navigating the journey of existence. It reminds us that death is not an end, but a transition, a portal to new beginnings. As Ram Dass beautifully said, "When you die, there is only one question that matters. How much did you love?" In this sense, the Tibetan Book of the Dead invites us to reflect deeply on our lives. Are we ready for the final journey? Are we prepared to let go of everything we believe defines us? By embracing these teachings, we not only prepare for death, but learn to live with greater clarity and purpose. Life itself becomes a practice of detachment, love, and awareness, qualities that carry us through both the known and the unknown. If this journey into the mysteries of the Bardo Thodol resonated with you, share this video and subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments what fascinates you most about life after death. Together, let us continue exploring the greatest mysteries of existence. Thank you for watching.